a basketball player here at Clarion. He was certainly talented, gritty, physical, clutch. You can use a lot of different terms for this guy. He was a freshman All-American, PSAC Rookie of the Year, multiple times All-PSAC. He was one of 5 players to have over a certain number of points and rebounds in his career. He had 1,248 points and 794 rebounds. To have someone as a scorer and a rebounder is rare like that. But he also, as a forward, had 215 career steals, 83 in one season. I think he's probably more proud of that than he is of all the other stats. And of course, he helped Clarion win its first PSAC championship in school history in 2001. I present to you for induction David Shearer. Not the same gym you played in.
Certainly not. A lot of changes here since I've last stepped through the doors, but beautiful place.
When you were, if you were recruited now and you looked at this, would you say, yes, I'm coming here?
Yeah, it's a lot easier now than when I first came through here.
That's really beautiful. I like that. You had a great career at Hempfield High School. You had all kind of honors, Fab Five, just to name one of many. Anybody that knows, that reads papers and everything, knows that if you're a Fab Five in Pittsburgh or in that area, the Greensburg area, that you're considered upper crust. Let's put it that way. For some reason, which I don't know if we'll ever know, the offers just weren't there. So you go to Westmoreland Community College, and before I set up the question about your Clarion recruitment, just mention a little bit about, you thought you had snagged Westminster.
Yeah, so like you're saying, coming out of Hempfield, you know, it's a quad A school. At that time was the biggest classification of high school. And, you know, we played all the bigger programs, and I had 2-time all-section, all-conference, Fab Five, you know, 20 points a game, the only one to do that. So, you know, I'm on cloud 9 here, getting letters from all kinds of schools. And at the end of the day, that's really all it ever amounted to be, was just letters. And, you know, you could walk on, you could try to earn a scholarship, but really no concrete offers. And Ron Galbraith out of Westminster, that was an NAIA program at the time that was transferring over to Division II the next year. They were trying to put together some package for me, and that's really, you know, I had to eat some humble pie there, because I went from all these accolades and thinking I'm going somewhere big to this is all I got. And Ron Galbraith ended up leaving that program, and I think he went to Gannon or something like that. And the incumbent coach, you know, pretty much totally ghosted me, and I had no offers at the end of the day. And that's really, you know, so I go to Westmoreland County Community College and worked with the videographer to put together my own highlight tape, which is, you know, VHS and fuzzy and can barely even tell it's me on the court, and just sent out the tapes to all the PSAC schools and really anybody that would come calling. And Clarion was the only one, the only school that actually came calling.
So we're going to fast forward. Mike Powers comes for a home visit, and you're hoping this could be it. This is where I'm going to go. But you had a secret agent, and tell the folks how that home visit secured your place at Clarion.
Yeah, so this is it. This is one of one, the only school I got. I'm at a community college with no basketball program, and Coach Powers comes down and sits in our living room, and my dad, before he gets there, my dad, Billy Shearer, he says, just sit there and I got this. and they come walking through the door and sit on the couch, and my dad sits down and says, you know, we got offers from IUP, we got offers from Edinburgh, we got offers from Cal, and, you know, you give us a full scholarship or we're not coming. And it worked. They offered us right there on the couch. And then he starts getting greedy and says, you know, you got to throw in the books. And they say, all right, we'll do the books. And so here I go. I'm at Clarion. That's how I ended up here.
Michael Jordan needs an agent. I thought that story was really incredible. You come to Clarion, we talked about this, you come to Clarion, and there's a lot of veteran players here. You're a freshman, you come in, and just talk about how, I don't want to say you weren't, because I know you weren't intimidated, but the respect of looking at All-Americans like Lamont Sharp and some of these other guys that were here trying to make your way.
Yeah, and like I said, you know, I'm on cloud nine coming out of high school thinking that I'm all this, and you know, that was a whole lot of humble pie just to get here. And I come walking into a senior dominated team. I mean, this is the 13th ranked team in the country, and you know, I'm just trying to figure out if I'm even going to play on this team. And you know, early on as we're scrimmaging and in the gym way before the season even starts, and you know, it's just 5-on-5. And you know, I remember R.C. Kehoe, this stuck with me for 20-some years, that he stopped practice in the middle and was basically, you know, yelling at the other team saying that the reason we're losing is because of this guy right here, and he's pointing to me. And yeah, that's something I'll always remember, and kind of gave me that confidence that I could play with these guys. And you know, there's 6'8", 6'9", 6'6". This is a big team, grown men. You know, I'm coming in 18 years old with my curly hair and, you know, looking at who is this kid. And, you know, so I just found a way to carve my niche in there. And, you know, so leading into that season, that's really the confidence I had to know that I could play on the team.
And someone that was on the team wasn't playing so well. Your number was called by Coach Ryder.
Yeah, and that's, you know, they ended up bringing in a Division I transfer from Hartford, and 6'7" kid, you know, all through practice, threes, dunking, all this stuff, and he played in front of me and went in the first game, and, you know, he shot like 1 for 13 or something like that, and they stuck me in, and I think I played like 12 minutes the first game, and, you know, got like, it was only like 6 points and like 12 rebounds, and, you know, the next game I started, and it's, you know, kind of the rest is history.
That's working your way in pretty fast. You're Rookie of the Year in the PSAC. You have a pretty good freshman year. And then your sophomore year, all those veteran guys are gone. So now you have to take up a different role, don't you?
Yeah, and it's, you know, coming from that senior-dominated team, I wasn't looked at to really score a lot. And, you know, just like that, you got 8 seniors that are gone and a brand-new team. And, you know, so myself and Tamir Harbin that year were really counted on to lead the way, and that was Raleigh Smith, who, you know, is already in the hall here. That was his freshman year, so he had a very similar freshman year that I did, just trying to get his feet wet. So myself and Tamir were really, you know, counted on the score that year. So, yeah, it was a completely different role, and had to obviously go from kind of the freshman under-the-radar guy to really trying to lead a team in my second year.
That team was 20-7 overall, 10-2 in the West, wins the West. Right here in this facility, hosts Slippery Rock for the first playoff game. That didn't go too well.
Yeah, that's that infamous headband story. But you know, we put a banner up that year, and ended up we won something like 11, 12 games in a row, and we were really feeling ourselves. And you know, these guys went out and got these headbands and put them on, and we come out running around and end up getting blown out by 20. And to this day, I didn't wear those headbands, though. You know, not with this hair. It wasn't a good look, man. But yeah, we really thought, you know, after winning that many games in a row, and that was some more humble pie that we had to eat that year. And that's the thing. After a great year, a historic year, a chance to, you know, put a banner up there. That's the way it is. Just like that, one bad playoff game you're not ready for, and it's over.
But as fate would have it, you get another chance. And the very next year, the record's good, it's not a championship record, but you get into playoffs, but it all changes. You go down to IUP and win a big first playoff game there, and then all of a sudden things change. Just talk about that run.
Yeah, and that's throughout the year before when we won that many games in a row, we won a lot of the close games. And the next year we just really weren't quite closing those games out. But come playoff time, we were ready this year, and we weren't kind of shell shocked. And so that playoff run against starting with IUP, that was the game I got hurt. And really, I think the second game was Westchester or Bloomsburg. So I missed that game, and then I came back against Westchester, and that's the one that we got a chance to put another one up there.
Yeah, put the banner up and talk about that Westchester game a little bit, because you talked about how that team did come together in that game, and you were trailing late in that game and then ran it into overtime. Just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that was one that we kind of felt like we had throughout the whole game, but really towards the final end, they went up by 3, and it's looking kind of bleak for us at that moment. They had a guy that had to go to the free throw line to put them up 4, and fortunately he missed that free throw, and Raleigh came down to hit a 3, put us into overtime, and we ended up blowing them out in overtime. So that's a big moment there. That's one for the rafters.
Did you? I was going to say, did you have was that your favorite year? Was that or your favorite team, or was one of the other teams your favorite?
Yeah, that definitely that junior year, not just for the conference championship, but my sophomore year I was counted on for scoring a lot more, but like you said in your intro there, I really like to fill all the boxes as we said, and rebound and steal, assists, block shots, and as kind of an undersized guy at 6'4", that's not very big in basketball, by the way. So you had to be able to rebound and get steals against guys that are a lot bigger than me. That's something that I took a lot of pride in, and yeah, so that was definitely my favorite year, that junior year.
Anybody that watched you play knows that, and again, the points weren't really the factor for you, but you were a guy who, once the game got into the final minutes, you were like the closer. You felt like it was your responsibility to get the ball and make sure that whether you scored or passed, it didn't matter, but you wanted the game to come through you. Where did you get that?
Yeah, that's a lot of coach having confidence in me too, and you get down to those final moments, you want to get the ball in the hands of people that are going to make smart plays and make the right play, and I just always try to do that in those final moments. It didn't always mean taking the last shot and playing hero ball, but really just trying to make the right play. And I remember a lot of the game winners weren't even necessarily taken by me, but it was just a matter of you knew the other team were going to try to take you away, and you just got the ball in the hands of the right guys. So
I can still see you going in the lane, ball fake, shoulder in, make contact, go to the line, 2 free throws.
Yep.
I mean, that's like your staple.
Yeah, and that came from a lot of growing up and just learning to play through contact. And yeah, so I went to the foul line a whole lot of times, and against those bigger guys, that's something you had to do, was try to create that contact, get that space. But yeah, that was definitely part of my game.
Before we finish, you had one other thing that we talked about I thought was really unique. You talked about having the opportunity several summers to go play overseas. That's not something that anybody here would know about, or that people would know that the opportunity was there.
Yeah, so between every summer, they have a program where they take various guys from D1, D2 schools, and we started off going to Venezuela the one summer, and you go over there for 3 weeks at a time, and you're playing against their professional teams, which back in the early 2000s it was like they were on our level. It wasn't quite like international basketball is right now, but then we went over to France, Holland, Czech Republic, and those experiences, even in the camps before we even left, the kind of competitiveness that and those battles that we had before we even left, and Raleigh and Steve Serwaka, those guys went with me as well, and I think that was great preparation for the following years, and really experience that you'll never forget.
Before we hit the thank yous, just wanted to ask you, did you have some special teammates that you were really close to over that time?
Yeah, those winning programs, and a bunch of them, frankly, and Lamont Sharp, Marvin Wells from that first year, even Brad Wright. Senior dominated team like that to kind of make room for a freshman was big. That doesn't always happen in teams, especially one that was highly ranked like that.
Did that help you welcome the younger guys as you were getting older?
Yeah, for sure. And I think, as you reload every year, and Raleigh Smith is coming in, Steve Serwalker's coming in, Tamir Harbin's coming in, Chris Kelly, a lot of these guys that were, big parts of that winning. Al Stevens, Steve Neesmith, these guys, we were a close-knit group and won a lot of games here. So, yeah, I can go on, but there's a long list here of guys that I'm proud to play with.
Final thank yous and recognition.
Yeah, so want to thank the late coach Tom Trainer. He's my high school coach, and we had 3 sophomores. They called us super sophomores that started at Hempfield, and we weren't so super to start. We were 1-9 that year, and in hindsight, that took a lot of guts to pull the trigger to start us, and we ended up winning a lot of games. But that was a pretty gutsy move, so I'm thankful he made that one. And Coach Ryder as well, very similar thing. To bench your D1 guy that you brought in and put in a freshman is a pretty gutsy move. So, I definitely want to thank them. And my family, we roll pretty deep here. Open bar was here, so they took advantage of that. But yeah, my wife as well. My wife, Melody, went to school here the same time I did, but she never knew me. And she would tease me because we met like 2 years after I graduated and ask me if I was really a big deal here at all. And I've got a ring now to prove it, so maybe a little bit. My kids, my son Morgan, my daughter Savannah, they're little hoopers, 5th grade right now. So keep grinding, guys. It's a long road, but you'll learn to come out winning on the other side. My brother Jeff, literally the blood, sweat, and tears, literal blood, sweat, and tears. That's where most of that jumping in, and these football guys, man, they just know how to foul, and that's definitely was one of them there. So, and last but not least, my dad, Billy Shearer, not with us anymore, but he came to every game and really made me who I am. So this one's for you, Billy Shearer.
David Shearer, Hall of Famer.